Some of my content has mention of extreme violence, sexual assault, and/or other triggering content. Discretion is advised. People don't just disappear into thin air. There's no way a person can just vanish with no evidence, no trace, no body, just be gone. Or at least I thought. But in the cases of these men, they vanished without a trace. So what really happened to Jared Hanna, Brandon Lawson, Bryce Lapisa, Reny Jose, Jake Latoya, Matthew Weaver, Jason Landry, and Daniel Robinson? I'm going to present all the facts and the evidence and let you guys decide. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Dark Enigmas, where we talk about all of the mysteries that are on the darker side. Today I have a doozy for you, but first, yesterday I went live, and it was really fun. I got to talk to you guys actually in real time. It was really cool, and so I think I'll be doing some more lives. I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of you. You guys are awesome. I love our little community, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So, just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, today's story is a crazy one. As you know, a couple videos ago, or last video maybe, I did Daniel Robinson. This was a man that went missing in Arizona with no trace and some weird circumstances. As I was researching his case, a bunch of other names kept coming up, and I knew the popular ones. I knew the case of Bryce Lapisa, I knew Jason Landry, I knew Brandon Lawson, and those cases baffled me as well. But I didn't realize how many connections all of these cases really have. On top of that, I found some cases that I don't think people know much about. I combed through missing persons listings, and with that, I went and found all of the young men that kind of fit the same profile. And there was a lot of them. There were ones that didn't fit the profile that are crazy that maybe I'll do in the future. But I wanted to put together a video where it was talking about the similarities between these cases. And let me tell you, there is a lot. There is evidence that maybe all of this is a coincidence, but this is crazy. And I will give my theories at the end, but I want to go through and tell you the stories in kind of a condensed version of all of these men. I want to get the facts out there as much as I can and let you guys decide for yourself. That being said, I am going to be looking at my notes a lot this time. It is hard for me to remember names and dates and times. I know the story. I can get through the story, but the names, dates, times, ages is very hard for me. So with this being 8 of them, there was no way I was going to memorize all of it. So I will be looking at my notes a lot. I want to get the facts right so you guys have a clear picture of what is going on. So let me tell you about these 8 men that just disappeared. Let me know what you think. So what I did was I went through and put a list together, starting from the earliest to now. And I'm going to go through and give you all the information on them, starting with their names, the state they live in, the date they disappeared, and their ages. And then the story of what happened. So our first case is the case of Jared Hanna. This is from Illinois, and he went missing on July 2nd, 2011. He was 28 years old. Jared was last seen in Centralina, Illinois, which is located in Clinton County. Witnesses say that they had seen him in the area of the Jolliffe Bridge Road in Clinton County. 2 witnesses reported seeing him in the area. One told authorities that they believed that Jared knocked on their door at about 8:30 a.m. asking for directions for a nearby town. Authorities believe that this person was the father of 2, Jared Hanna, and he was looking for help before he disappeared. Over the years, rumor and hearsay has just swirled around Jared's disappearance. His last confirmed sighting was at 11:45 on July 2nd. This is from security images at a local food mart. His cell phone last pinged off a tower in Centralina, nearly 2 hours from the food mart. Around 9:30 p.m. that night, that's when his phone pinged. After that, the phone was either turned off or it completely died. His 1990 GMC Sierra truck was found abandoned and out of gas, parked on that bridge, that Jolliffe Bridge, and then an isolated area more than 70 miles from his house. They went on searches. They tried to find him. They searched the area around Jared's truck, but so far they have not found anything. There was volunteer searchers, ATVs, horseback. They've combed fields nearby and no solid leads panned out at all. Later on in the summer, the same year that he disappeared, a black duffel bag was found about 5 miles from where the truck had been found. It was wet and underneath a deer stand. Authorities believe that that had been where Jared disappeared. No leads were uncovered from the bag at all. Clinton County authorities confirm human remains have been found in the woods by Jolliffe Bridge Road and Lynn Street in Centralina. The discovery was made at 2:15 p.m. March 2021. Sergeant Timmerman said he didn't want to say for certain, but he does not believe that it is Jared Hanna. Now, this is interesting. So this year they had found remains. A lot of people thought maybe this was Jared Hanna because he was the biggest missing person in that area. It was not him. So we either have someone else, a body of someone else that they have found, or it is Jared Hanna. The authorities don't believe that it is. We are waiting on results for that. This could be a case that doesn't fit in this profile, but so far, weird disappearance, young man, and no body. So I'll keep you updated on that. Maybe it will bring a case up from the other person or whoever was found. So this next one is a pretty popular case. A lot of people know this one. A lot of people have combed through and sleuthed on this case. Not a lot has been found, but it is so weird because this person disappeared completely, but was in contact with family members while he was going through whatever he was going through, and then disappeared. This is the case of Brandon Lawson. This was in Texas near San Angelo, which I had family that lived there, so I'm kind of familiar with the area. And this was in San Angelo, Texas, August 9th, 2012, and he was 26 years old. Brandon Lawson was a father of 4 children, and he loved being a dad, and he was very good at it, a lot of people said. So this event happened on August 8th, 2013. And approximately 11 p.m., Brandon and his girlfriend, her name is Laspisa, argued. They had a fight. She was kind of suspicious that maybe he had been on drugs and was like, get out. So Brandon had some in the past, some drug use. He had done some methamphetamine, according to people around him. And he had an ongoing problem, but he was really, really trying to get clean for his kids. And prior to this disappearance, he had been clean for 6 months. So here's the timeline. 11:54, Brandon leaves his house in San Angelo. It believes that he was heading to Fort Worth to stay with his father. So this is now into August 9th, 2013. 12:30, Brandon calls his brother Kyle and says, I ran out of gas. I am driving on US 277 toward Bronte, Texas. Kyle, the brother, and his girlfriend hopped in the car with their child this late to go help him. They head over to Ladessa's house to pick up a gas can. Ladessa was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm going to put the gas can on the porch. Y'all figure it out because I'm mad, which I get. So 12:50, Brandon calls 911.
911 emergency.
Yes, I'm in the middle of the field. The tank was just pushing guys over. Right here going towards Javelin on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. You got to take it to the woods. Please hurry.
Okay, now run that by me.
I'm not talking to him. I actually ran into him.
Ah, you ran into him. Okay.
That's the first guy.
Do you need an ambulance?
Yeah. No, I need the cops.
Okay. Is anybody hurt? Hello? Hello? Hello?
This call to 911 is bizarre. First, he says he needed some help. He was in between, he said Bronte on both sides. So I'm not really sure what that means. But he says that he ran into someone and he's in trouble. A lot of people have examined this 911 call. I will post a link to the YouTube video that shows it is a very, very clean audio of this call. So you guys can listen to it yourself and tell me what you think you hear. 12:58 a.m., a passing truck driver calls 911. They say that Brandon's truck is abandoned on the side of the highway. The vehicle was parked in a hazardous manner, they said. Its tail was hanging over the white line parked on the side of the road. Then at 1:18 a.m., Kyle calls Brandon to find his exact location. Brandon sounded like he was out of breath. He did sound like this on the 911 call as well. Like he was running from something, and he claimed to Kyle that he was bleeding. He told them to hurry, and then he hung up. Now, approximately 1 a.m., Kyle arrives to Brandon's truck, but he's not in the vehicle and he cannot find them. While on the phone with Brandon, police officer pulls up to the scene. Brandon says, "One time run," to Kyle. To which Kyle responded that he wasn't going to run. Brandon said, "Where's your pride, MF?" and then hung up. Now, it's important to note here that Brandon had a warrant out for his arrest. So, what people believe that Brandon was saying to Kyle is, "Oh no, the cops are here, we need to get away." That's why a lot of people think that Brandon fled from the cops at this point. So approximately 1:30 to 4:30 a.m., the details are a little fuzzy here. But Kyle says that he drove up and down the highway looking for Brandon. At some point, he had to leave to go get his son food, who they've had in their car this whole time. Afterward, he returned to the search, possibly with friends. So he returned back to search for Brandon. So approximately 4 a.m., Ladessa woke up and noticed multiple missed calls from Kyle. Also from Brandon and Brandon's mom. Her phone had been in her van because it was charging. Ladessa tries to call Brandon back, but his phone just continually rings. She assumes he's somewhere he doesn't have service. She eventually speaks to Kyle, and he tells her that he is not able to find Brandon. So at 7 a.m., Kyle puts gas in Brandon's truck and then leaves. So the gist of it is that Kyle was bringing gas to Brandon before all of this craziness happened. So he, in his mind, is like, okay, well, Brandon ran from the cops. I need to put gas in Brandon's car so whenever Brandon gets back to his truck, he can leave and everything will be fine. Approximately 8:30 to 9 o'clock, the sheriff's department has Brandon's truck towed. Because it was parked in a hazardous manner, they had to get that truck out of there. So like I said when I started Brandon's case, this one's been looked over a lot. And so here are some questions or some more important details about Brandon's case. He did have an outstanding warrant. Now, Brandon called 911 on his own volition. When the 911 operator asked if Brandon needed an ambulance or cops, he says, "I need the cops." But then when the cops showed up, he fled, apparently, or had said he didn't want to come out. And so that's odd to people. Brandon had paranoia. He had believed that people were after him, and there was no direct evidence that there was, but he believed it so. And this all comes back to the fact that he could have been relapsing on methamphetamine. Now, this is odd because law enforcement believed that Kyle, his brother, was involved somehow. They questioned Kyle many, many, many times. Kyle took a polygraph and he passed. He took 2 polygraphs and completely passed, but they believe he helped Brandon escape or get away or whatever he did. The terrain where Brandon went missing is very, very rough. There is a likelihood that you could get caught up and lost and basically die out there. The listeners say on the 911 call that they hear those quote-unquote gunshots. This could be because of the location where Brandon was. He was close to the Colorado River, and people were saying that cars were going by there, and that's the sound that they heard. From this, I also get that he was near water, which could mean that he had perished in the river. Another interesting thing was Brandon withdrew $401K before his disappearance. We don't know why that happened, but maybe if he had paranoia, that could have been why. So none of Brandon's items, his phone, keys, or wallet, have ever been recovered. So those things were on him. No one has ever found them. So the cops believe that there was no sign of a struggle and that Brandon just walked away. He possibly got a ride from someone or just was trying to get away from his life. And they believe this because of that outstanding warrant, that he was basically trying to get away from the cops. However, here we are how many ever years later, there's never been a body recovered or any evidence that he has tried to reach out to his kids or his family at all. There is a lot of theories around Brandon Lawson's disappearance. There is police cover-ups, drug cartels, missing just to be missing, starting a new life or whatever. There's a lot of rumors online. And what's interesting is with a couple of these cases, people have just combed over them. And then there's other ones that people don't even know about. So that's very odd to me. I don't know why this one was such a big case, but it was. And there's a lot of theories. So another case that is huge is the Bryce Lapisa case. This case got me into missing persons cases. This case had me crazy. I literally went crazy when I heard this case. I listened to everything I could listen. I was trying to pick out little pieces that I was like, oh, maybe I'll figure it out. Like, okay. But Bryce Lapisa is a very popular case, and it is because it is so strange. Yeah, it's one of those that, you know, people ask you, like, what case would you want to be solved? Like, as far as missing people's cases, I would love to know where Bryce Lapisa is. So, Bryce Lapisa, 19 years old, disappeared on August 30th, 2013, and this is in California. So, Bryce was your normal young guy. He was a freshman in college, studying graphic and industrial design at Sierra College. But before he went missing, there was some strange things he did, and he was acting very weird. So his friends and his family said he was becoming withdrawn, erratic, maybe a little depressed. And Lapisa had admitted to people that he was taking Vyvanse, which is an amphetamine, and it's used to treat ADHD, but he didn't have ADHD. And there's a horrible trend of college students taking Vyvanse to basically stay up, to study for tests, to get through college. But Vyvanse is a horrible drug. It can make you act these things: erratic, withdrawn, depressed, strange. So Vyvanse definitely could have added to Bryce Lapisa's disappearance. So a little bit before Bryce Lapisa went missing, he started giving away things. He gave away this ring that belonged to his mom, started giving away his gaming equipment. It was kind of odd. But the night that he disappeared, he was on his way to his parents' house in Laguna Niguel, California. The day before, he told his parents, listen, I got some big news to tell you. I have a lot to talk to you about. And yeah, so he called his parents at 11:30 p.m. He contacted his mother a few times throughout his drive. And what was weird about this night was it was just so strange. Like this night lasted forever, in my opinion. So he contacted his parents at that 11:30 p.m. and he was like, I'm coming to see you, which was odd that he started at night, but he was like, I'm coming to see you. So he left. He kept in contact a couple times with his parents, and then they couldn't get into contact with him. They couldn't figure out why he wasn't home. So they started calling around, and they noticed that he had stopped at this like roadside assistance type of thing. A man named Christian, which was the owner of Castro Tire and Gas in Buttonwillow, reported that he had delivered 3 gallons of gas to Bryce Lapisa around 9 a.m. Christian offered to return to the spot to see if Lapisa was still there. So while his parents were calling around, they found this guy Christian. Christian's like, sure, I'll go check on him, see what's up. Which, thank God for Christian. Like, this man, I don't know how we tend to find just angels out and about, but Christian's a good guy. So when he came upon Bryce Lapisa, he was in the same spot. He was not moved in hours. He was just sitting there. So when Christian pulled up, he was like, hey, you gotta call your mom, man, because she's going crazy looking for you. And he told his parents and Christian, he's like, all right, I will make the 3-hour drive home. And Christian watched as he drove off around 3 p.m. that day. And what's odd is his parents hadn't heard or saw from him in hours. It was supposed to be a 3-hour drive. They had not heard from him. So they called the cops. The cops tracked his cell phone, which put them just a few miles from where Christian had left him. And there was Bryce Lapisa, just parked a couple miles away, just sitting there. The cops said he didn't show any sign of being intoxicated. No drugs and alcohol were found in the vehicle. He was just sitting there. Very odd. So the cops were basically like, dude, you just need to go home. Your parents are worried about you, just go. So he left. And about 2 a.m. in the morning, he called his mom and said, I am tired. I'm going to pull off and go to sleep. Now, this is where it gets weird and very dangerous for Bryce. Surveillance footage showed at 2:15 a.m. that he turned onto this access road rather than pulling off the roadside or pulling off to a rest stop to take a nap. However, it showed him driving up and down this hill twice. So they saw him come and go and come and go, which was very odd. The very next thing that happened was 6 hours later, a California highway patrol officer showed up at Bryce Lapisa's parents' house. They said, we found your son's abandoned car at Castellac Lake. The rear window had been shattered. His phone, laptop, and wallet were all found inside. There was no trace of Bryce. Bryce has still not been found. They dragged the lake, they did searches. He just disappeared. And there's a lot of theories that he started a new life. The odd thing for me is that Bryce is very identifiable. Bryce has bright red hair, lots of tattoos, and so you could pick Bryce out of a lineup, out of a crowd. He's also very tall, so you could pick Bryce out. So how did he start this new life when he's so identifiable? Our next case is one that I had not heard before, and I don't think a lot of people have heard, and that is Reny Jose. He was 22 years old, and he disappeared on March 2nd, 2014 in Houston, Texas. Rennie has this crazy, beautiful smile that you can just see radiating in pictures. He seems like a good energy. He was a mechanical engineer, and he was majoring at Rice University in Houston, Texas when he disappeared. Now, he was on spring break in Houston with 22 other students. So there was a large group of people. He disappeared at 7 p.m. March 3rd, 4 days into the trip, and has never been heard from again. His friends reported his disappearance at 11 the next morning. They found some of his clothes on the beach and were very worried, so they called the cops. Here's some weirdness in the timeline. They reported his disappearance at 11 a.m. the next morning. They had found some clothes that were on the beach. However, beach cleanup did not see these clothes at 6 a.m. that day. So between 6 a.m. and 11 a.m., were those clothes there? Had they been there the night before and the cleanup crew didn't see them? This has been a big question in his disappearance. This is also odd. Authorities found some more of his clothing, his cell phone, in the trash bin behind the rental house. His wallet, his laptop computer, and his suitcase were all left in his rental. Jose's friends told authorities they had taken LSD and that Rennie had made some strange comments that he wanted to hurt himself, but his family said that he was looking forward to everything and wasn't suicidal. So I don't know if the LSD made him have that reaction. If it did, that's incredibly sad. According to Jose's family, by the time they arrived in Florida the very next day, March 5th, the students that Rennie went on this trip with were all gone, and that the cops had not questioned them. No body or sign of Rennie has ever been recovered. Did he go into the Gulf of Mexico? There's been a lot of people search that area, but this has been since 2014, so you'd think that something would have washed up of Rennie by now. So our next case is one that I had not heard of at all either, and it's very interesting. This one doesn't fit exactly in the profile, but it does in a lot of senses. So this was of Jake Latoya. He was 22 years old and he disappeared on August 29th, 2014 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Latoya enjoyed fishing, working on cars, and he had a young daughter. So it's important to note that Jake had a broken foot and right hand at the time of his disappearance. His foot was in one of those boot things. I said that so Kansan, boot things. And he was using crutches at the time of his disappearance. He was last seen on the Interstate 10 bridge over the Mississippi River in Baton Rouge. He was sitting along the bridge rail next to his pickup truck. Someone spoke to him at 2 a.m. and said that he was en route to West Baton Rouge, but he never arrived there. During the next morning, during the early hours, police got an anonymous call saying that someone had jumped from the bridge. This was 175 feet to the river below. They searched the whole river, but they couldn't find a body. They only found Latoya's truck still running. His cell phone and cigarettes were there, but his wallet and crutches were missing. He's never been heard of again, so he just disappeared. When Latoya's mother checked his apartment, there was signs of a struggle. There were holes in the walls, a window was punched out. Many of Latoya's belongings, including his TV set, guns, they were missing. His crutches were never recovered, and Latoya's mother believes her son was met with foul play and tried to make his disappearance look like a suicide. They have never found his body or any other evidence. So the reason I thought this story fit so well was all of his belongings were in his truck. Latoya, he could have fell off the bridge. This could have been a suicide situation. But how this fits is there's never been a body. This is where things get weird for me with these cases, is that a body would wash up. Bodies don't stay down forever. Even when you tie them to like a brick or something, eventually there's going to be enough slippage on the skin. There's going to be skeletal remains. It's going to come off and your skeleton is going to go somewhere. You're going to see them. So I feel like at some point we would find these missing men. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I know that with skeletal remains, maybe they go down and you don't see them, but it's just so improbable that they are in the water so long that they become skeletal remains and go down. It's strange. And the fact that there are so many here that have been in water, Rennie and Jake, even Bryce Lapisa could have been in water, and they have never found it. So it's just weird. This next case is of Matthew Weaver Jr. He was 21 years old, and he disappeared on August 10th, 2018 in Simi Valley, California. This was another case that I had not heard of that much, but it's very interesting. So Matthew had recently moved and gotten a job working on power lines. Matthew Weaver was last seen August 10th, 2018 in the 2600 block, of Stern Street in Simi Valley, California. He was last seen on surveillance video at 7:15 a.m. driving his silver BMW on Topanga Tower motorway headed towards Rosas Overlook. He sent a text message to a friend at approximately 11:55 a.m. stating that something crazy was happening and he wanted to talk when I have the chance. The text was sent from that La Rosas Overlook area in Santa Monica Mountains National Recreation Area. He was never seen from or heard from again. Just after midnight on August 11th, the day after Matthew disappeared, hikers reported hearing a man and a woman calling for help in the area where the surveillance video captured Matthew's car. During the search for this woman and man screaming for help, they found Matthew's abandoned car. It was on the Topanga Tower motorway near Rosas Overlook above the Blackburn Trail and Honda Canyon areas. Now, in January 2019, hikers found keys to Matthew's car, 25 feet from where the vehicle had been found. Aerial photographers had taken drones high above these mountains in the wilderness, and in 2019, these images by drone helped his family recover a baseball cap and a ripped t-shirt that are believed to be Matthew's. Matthew's case remains unsolved. There's no body and there's no evidence. This one is odd. Like, who were those people calling for help? And where did Matthew go? Okay, so this is our last kind of deep dive case, and this happened in 2020. So this is very recent. There is still time to recover Jason Landry, but this is an odd case that I think fits. So Jason Landry, he was 21, and he went missing in December of 2020. So Jason had just finished up his first semester at the University of San Marcos in Texas, where he was working to become accepted into this prestigious sound recording technology program. So very, very cool. Here is a timeline of the events that they believe what Jason Landry happened to him on December 13th. So, December 13th, 10:55 p.m., Jason leaves his apartment in San Marcos with the intent to drive to Missouri City, Texas, where his parents lived. So he is going basically for winter break. December 13th, 11:05, Jason drives his vehicle on Highway 80 and passes under the I-35 in San Marcos. 11:07, Jason continues to drive south on Highway 80, entering Caldwell County. 11:11, Jason is in Martindale, Texas, continuing south on Highway 80. 11:15, Jason passes over SH 130 on Highway 80. 11:24, Jason enters Lewig, Texas on Highway 80. He stops using the Waz app and opens Snapchat. He passes through the intersection of Mongolia Avenue and East Austin Street. And that's where Jason's digital footprint ends. So the rest is what they believe happened. It is believed he continued on East Austin to Spruce Street, which turns into Salt Flat Road. At 12:31, Jason's wrecked vehicle is found on Salt Flat Road. Investigators say that it was a single vehicle collision, most likely from overcorrecting on this gravel road. He spun off the roadway and crashed rear end into a tree. Now, this car had some weird things. The lights were still on, the keys were in the ignition, and the front passenger's side door was locked. There was no sign of Jason. Troopers who responded to the crash scene found Jason's backpack, ball cap, toiletries, a tumbler with his dead betta fish, horrible, and they found that on the road about 900 feet away. They say the backpack contained a small amount of marijuana, a laptop, and gaming equipment. Jason's father arrived at the scene just a few hours later to find his son's clothes, including a shirt, shoes, underwear, a wristwatch, scattered on the roadway about 900 feet from the crash scene. The new evidence released, which was pretty recently, was a photo of Jason on the night he was missing. He appeared to be in good spirits, wearing the same shirt that was found in the pile of clothes recovered by his father. The car was processed for any DNA, blood evidence, but no evidence of blood has been found in the car. There is no evidence that Jason was heading to meet with someone in the Lewig area. So far, there has been no body and no more evidence of Jason Landry. Now, that was weird. This is another one that reminded me of Daniel Robinson, because his clothes were off. So if he was wearing that same shirt and his parents recovered underwear, his wristwatch, his shirt, his shoes, that means the man is naked, which was a big thing in the Daniel Robinson case. Like, why would he just walk off naked? So, the very next case in this is Daniel Robinson, which happened June 23rd, 2021, super recently. He was 24 and he lived in Arizona. Now, what do you guys think? Because that is 8 men going missing without a trace, without a body, under weird circumstances. Most of them had a car in it, whether they left the car, whether they were driving, whether this car was found, and they're all missing without a trace. They're also all young men. So, this is weird. So, we've got all of these 8 men missing, very weird circumstances, all different, but all the same in the same way. So let's talk about some of the theories in these cases. Now, some of these are just the theories in one case, a few cases. They're not all the same. They should not all be treated the same because they're all very different. But here are some theories that I have kind of kept up with. So a lot of people believe that this was a mental break / they staged their disappearance. I could see that. It's odd that all of these young men were like having a breakdown and wanted to stage their disappearance. You have so many people looking for these people. Yes, it's America. You could go, somewhere unpopulated and never really be discovered. It's just weird that all of them would have that same idea or same theory. So that is one of them. A lot of these men struggled with depression or having some mental issues before they disappeared. So it's definitely could be a thing, a trend that they all struggled. And when that happens, you do have mental breakdowns and stuff happens. So that is one theory. Another theory is that drugs were involved. Most of these men were college age students. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know about what your life is like, but I'm telling you, a majority of people experiment with drugs in college. Is that dangerous? Absolutely. Is that scary? Yes. A lot of people survive it. A lot of people do not. These men were not doing anything that anyone else has done. This last case with Jason Landry, people blew it way out of proportion. They were like, there was drugs found on him and in his car. There's a little bit of marijuana. That is legal in most states now. I don't think that that's a indicator that he was on drugs. Now with Brandon Lawson, I believe, methamphetamines could have definitely altered a lot of what happened in that case. However, all of these men are important. Their family misses them. They were young men. And we still need to figure out what happened to them, no matter if it's drugs or not. But a lot of people point to drug activity, that maybe they had gotten into bad wrecks because of drugs and they were so messed up that they didn't know what to do, and so they ran away, which is a possibility. They also point to the fact that maybe they had run into drug dealers or cartels, people that wanted to make them disappear so that they would shut their mouth, which definitely could be a possibility too. I feel like we would find some evidence of blood, bodies, but it could be. I'm not ruling out anything in this because there's definitely a lot that it could be. The next theory that people claim could have happened is suicide. Absolutely. A lot of these people, I said, were going through mental breaks. They were on, different drugs. Vyvanse can make you suicidal. Methamphetamine, I don't know, but that's definitely a possibility. Just because your family doesn't see signs of being suicidal doesn't mean you're not. However, with suicide, a dead person can't move their body. A dead person can't do away with their body. There's no bodies. There's no bodies. There's no blood. There's no bodies. Where are these bodies at? I mean, you're having extensive searches. Some of these cases had cadaver dogs, ATVs, drones. Where are these bodies at? Now, a lot of people in the true crime community, of course, their first theory is murder. Now, could murder be the cause? Absolutely. We talked about the drug cartels making people disappear. That definitely could be. They could run into people that just wanted them dead. They could have staged the scene to make it look, like a suicide. They have to be very smart to do that, but it definitely could be. Now, could this be a serial killer? You have 8 different men, at least. There could be a lot more that I did not find. You have 8 men that have the same pattern. There's no body, no evidence. Their stuff's in their car. They're the same age bracket, all male. This could be an Israel Keys situation. If you don't know anything about Israel Keys, it's scary. It's basically, he was a serial killer that traveled the United States, had kill kits, basically kits he made, and he would drop them somewhere. And when he was in that state, he would go get his kill kit and kill someone. This could be an Israel Keys type of thing. Do I think there's enough evidence to say that? Absolutely not, because there's not enough evidence to say anything. But it definitely could be. It's weird that some of these men were acting strange. In a serial killer case, you don't think of behavior changing before, because they usually don't know what's going to happen. But that weird behavior could be because someone's following them. Someone is threatening them with, I'm going to make you disappear, or I'm going to make your family disappear, and they didn't come forward. Why all 8 would not come forward is baffling, but it could be. So I'm not ruling out that either. Now, hang with me on this one. I know y'all are going to think I'm crazy. And maybe I am. I think the best theory in the connection of all of these men cases, you're going to think I'm crazy. I don't even want to say it because you're going to think I'm crazy. Alien abduction. But just follow me. Just follow me for a second. If you don't believe, you don't believe. Skip this part, whatever. But could it be aliens? And let me just put this out here for you, okay? Maybe people are acting weird because of alien interaction. Maybe they're seeing things and they don't want to tell people because they would sound like me, a complete crazy person. A lot of this stuff, these disappearances, are happening in close proximity to a big city, but not around anyone that would see. Right? No one are seeing what's happening to these people. It's like they're just being plucked off the planet. And so I started thinking, like, why men though? Like, why this age bracket? And honestly, like, it's men that are college aged that could possibly repopulate things. And maybe aliens are taking these men to do experiments, to repopulate things. Who knows? But does that sound at all interesting to anyone? This theory makes sense to me because it seems like there was a lot of car crashes, which if you're going to see something in the sky and you're looking, you're going to crash your car. Or if they pluck you, that car is going to crash, right? y'all are gonna think I'm nuts. Y'all are gonna think I'm nuts. I mean, it's a stretch, but it makes sense to me. And just listen to this coincidence. So after all of this, here's what these men have in common. Young men between the age of 19 and 24. No body has been found. No blood evidence. Most of them were driving in or around cars. They were all acting weird beforehand. They're near high population areas, but not near witnesses. A lot of them had car crashes. A lot of their belongings were found in cars or in their car. A few of them had missing clothes. There are 5 different states between all of these men, and the years between 2011 and now. Could this all be a coincidence? It definitely could be. Weird coincidence. Weird coincidence. So, what do y'all think? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm crazy that it could be aliens? Because I can't think of any other explanation, really. I mean, if you think about it. Write me your comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I'm right in connecting these men. Tell me if you think I'm wrong in connecting these men. Tell me if you know any more, because this is wild. Wild, wild, wild. All right, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me. Like I said, post your theories below. I want to hear them. This one's got me messed up, man. This one's got me messed up. All right, I will see you guys next time. If you like my content, please subscribe. We're an awesome community, and yeah, so I'll see you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you liked this video or any of my other content, please click the subscribe button and the bell and the like button to help me with my content and my channel as it grows. Also follow me on social media platforms. Right now my biggest form of communication outside of YouTube is TikTok, so please add me on there. I make some funny true crime content on there. So thank you guys for watching. Love you.